I thought about doing this song when they sent the collection plate around, but it sounded a little tacky. It's called Pay Me My Money Down. I thought I heard the captain say, pay me my money down. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my money down. Pay me, oh pay me. Pay me my money down. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my money down. Soon as the boat was clear of the bar, pay me my money down. He knocked me down with the end of a spar. Pay me my money down. Pay me, oh pay me. Pay me my money down. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my money down. If I was a rich man's son, pay me my money down. I sit on a river and watch it run. Pay me my money down. Everybody, pay me, oh pay me. Pay me my money down. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my money down. Pay me, oh pay me. Pay me my money down. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my money down. Pay me my money down. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my money down. One more time. Pay me, oh pay me. Pay me my money down. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my money down. It may not be the most nourishing worship song, but anyone who's ever had to work a job knows you have to fight for every last penny from the boss. They'll do everything they can to cheat you out of a buck. So I feel like that one embodies the human soul. Thank you all for singing along with me. So we're going to do some introductions and announcements, and I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks so much for being here. Welcome, everyone, once again. And to our live service and also live streamed service over Zoom of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside. Thank you for joining us here in person, and for those joining remotely by Zoom. I am Alec Peck, chair of the worship committee, and I'll also be your worship associate today. Other members of the worship committee who make the service possible include Adam Weddiking, who monitors our online and visual connections, and Kate Lewicki at the back in charge of our sound system. We welcome you to join us this morning with an open mind and an open heart, and with muted electronic devices, please. Music has long served as a catalyst for social justice movements, providing an emotional rallying cry that unites communities, educates the public, and amplifies calls for change. Today's service centers on the songs of Pete Seeger, who believed his music could change hearts and minds, using his songs in service of his activism. We hope you enjoy and are inspired by today's musical program, led by our wonderful guest musician, Jonny Miller. One more hand for Jonny. Before we move into the service, there are a few announcements that I'd like to share. I'll mention a few websites, email addresses, and phone numbers, but there'll be a slide at the end of the service with all of that information, which is also available on our website. Please note that our services will begin 1 hour earlier, starting in the months of July and August, that's next week, starting at 9 a.m., beginning on July 5th through August 31st. That's next week. I think I did mention that. That's okay. All right, great. The first Sunday lunch will be held during July and August, not be held, excuse me. It's postponed for July and August and will resume once again in September when it's a bit cooler. Estuary gatherings are held on the first and third Thursdays at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the Parish Hall, where we discuss current events, philosophies, personal endeavors, or any other topics that you'd like to bring to the table for a meaningful discussion. The next meeting is going to be on July 2nd. Please join us to share in stimulating ideas and community, and for more information, please see Mari at the back. Please note, it is a tradition to host a potluck dinner for all of our members and friends from all SoCal Estuary groups on the months that have 5 Tuesdays, and June is one of those months. You are invited to bring something to the table on Tuesday, June 30th between 7 to 9 p.m. at the Crosspoint Church, which is located at 6950 Edison Avenue in Chino, California, in the music room. This is an unstructured potluck opportunity to meet some of our fellow estuarians who invited us to their program over in Chino. Carpools can be arranged, and see Mari again if you're interested in attending. Our Social and Environmental Justice Committee is hosting a Money in Politics workshop with the League of Women Voters and our local LULAC chapter. The workshop will be held here at the church on Monday, June 29th at 6 p.m. We will examine the campaign finance documents for the local city council rates ahead of the November election. This is a great chance to learn more about how money influences our local politics and what we can do as engaged citizens. This concludes our today's announcements. Our time together here is brief, but it is filled with joy. And in that spirit, I invite you to turn to those around you and greet them, welcome them, and share in that joy. For those on Zoom, you can use the Zoom wave gesture or just wave at your camera. Welcome again to all of our visitors today, and welcome back to all of our old friends. Welcome back to all of our visitors today, and welcome back to old friends. We would love to meet you during the coffee hour in the parish hall after the service, where you can also find our visitors tablet. Please leave your name before you leave so that we know you were here, and your contact information if you'd like updates on future church events. We'll also have a short discussion after the service if you'd like to share your reflections with us. For those online, the best way to be added to the mailing list is to email the church office at admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. And now I invite you to sit back, take a slow and deep breath as we move into our worship hour. And first, you are welcome to read with me the mission statement of our church. Our mission is to foster a diverse religious community that celebrates life, affirms the individual, encourages spiritual growth and open thought, and works to advance social justice and environmental sustainability. We are pleased to once again welcome our speaker, folk musician Jonny Miller. Jonny Miller Jr. is an Inland Empire-based folk musician and California Creative Crops Core grant-winning artist whose dusty, husky voice and authentic acoustic sound draw from classic Americana, country rock, and indie bluegrass. Often joined by his band, Jonny Miller and Sons, he is a folk revivalist deeply rooted in social justice, known for his IE songs, project reviewings of the labor songs of Woody Guthrie, Pete Seeger, and the Almanac Singers, and for showing up on picket lines to sing working class songs of struggle. Many notable individuals, both historical and contemporary, have been associated with Unitarian Universalism, and their contributions have had lasting impacts on society, culture, and human rights. As part of our Famous UUs series, local folk musician Jonny Miller will lead us in a special service celebrating the life and legacy of Pete Seeger. Join us as Jonny shares his stories about this beloved UU and activist, and leads the congregation in singing some of Pete's powerful social justice-themed protest songs. First, though, we have 2 lightings of sacred flame. First is the remembrance candle for the indigenous peoples who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. We remember that we live off the unceded land of several indigenous peoples, including the Cahuilla, the Luiseño, the Serrano, the Keats, and the Cupeño, and others. We light this sacred flame in remembrance and recognition of their ongoing struggle for freedom and dignity. Our second flame is our own chalice, the symbol of our faith. We are blessed with this space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. Today's chalice lighting words are "A Spark of Hope" by Melanie Davis. If ever there was a time for a candle in the darkness, this would be it. Using a spark of hope, kindle the flame of love, ignite the light of peace, and feed the flame of justice. Thank you, Stacy. This portion of our service now is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished in several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you can send your checks to the church address shown behind me. You can contribute by PayPal using the QR code also shown here, as well as shown on the church website and in the newsletter. Gift cards that support the church can be purchased through Raise Right for hundreds of places like Target, CVS, many restaurants, and more. You get the full value on the card, and the church also gets a percentage for free. See Robert Braun in the church office if you are interested in purchasing Raise Right gift cards to support the church. Today is also a 50-50 Sunday, which is held on the 4th Sunday of each month. If you wish to donate to the 50-50 program, half of each of the designated donation goes to the featured recipient and half to the general fund. This is in addition to your pledge to the church, and so If you'd like to donate to the 50/50 contribution, please write 50/50 on the memo line of your check or on the small envelopes that can be found inside the pews. And the recipient, today we are donating to the Benevolence Fund, which goes to various projects that we're supporting here at the church. Please donate as the Spirit moves you and by whatever method works best for you. Thank you for your generosity, and to those that give their time and their talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. To those of you who have joined us today, thank you for the gift of your presence. Will our ushers now please step forward to help receive our collection? A tote bag will also be passed around to help collect food and hygiene items for our local community.
Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Last Saturday night I got married. My wife, we settled down. Now my wife has soon departed. Gonna take another stroll downtown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I have a great notion to jump in the river and drown. Well, Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. I'm so happy so many of you know the lyrics to that song. And thank you for singing along. This is definitely a singing sermon. I try to make it mostly about the music and not so much me talking. But I will try to add as much as I can about Mr. Pete Seeger in there. The reason why I started off with that one while we were sending the collection plate around was that was probably his most popular song ever with his group that he was in called The Weavers. They probably enjoyed the most commercial success of any of Pete Seeger's ventures, and that's probably the most known song of his. Now, he didn't write that. A feller named Mr. Leadbelly wrote that, who was a great friend of Pete Seeger's. Leadbelly wrote a lot of the songs. Well, I wouldn't say he wrote them. He collected them. He was kind of like a encyclopedia of folk music that singers like Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger tend to draw upon. So, yeah, a lot of the songs in Pete's repertoire were either by Woody or somehow arranged by Leadbelly. The next couple songs that I'm going to do have to do with definitely social justice in the form of the labor movement and workers' rights. Pete Seeger grew up in a very musical household. His dad was a professor of musicology, which was kind of a new field in that time. studying different styles of music, especially folk music and ethnomusicology, the music of different cultures. And his mother was an accomplished violinist, and they had this great idea. Well, they thought it was a great idea when they were children, Pete and his siblings, to take the whole family on the road and go into rural parts of Appalachia in the South and to bring classical music to the masses, to the people. And they got down there, and it turned out to be kind of a big old mess because it was all dirt roads, and it was all very hard to navigate. And the interesting thing that came of it was that Seeger's family was out there playing these classical songs, and then the local musician said, "Hey, can we share with you a song or two?" And they came and brought their folk songs. And it was this amazing exchange where they actually probably learned more from the people out there than they sought to teach them. So Pete was inspired at a very young age to sing folk music. And when he graduated high school, his father took him down to North Carolina to a folk festival out there. And he heard all this music and was like, "I want to learn the banjo." And that's really when I think his music career began. He did sing songs, he did write songs, he did play the ukulele as a young boy. But when he picked up that banjo and started learning that folk and hillbilly music, that's really when things came alive. And I would say that that's when his career as a folk revivalist, bringing back these traditional songs of our ancestors and different cultures in the United States began. Now, when he was in college, he ended up dropping out of Harvard and moving to Greenwich Village, which was very much like the scene of everything was happening there in Greenwich Village. So many cultures meshed together, so many people of very progressive mindsets. And that's when he really started getting involved in the labor movement. And that's where he originally met Lead Belly and Mr. Woody Guthrie, and they formed a band together called the Almanac Singers. They actually all lived in a communal household. Everyone in this band shared everything in common. They were all communists, so it kind of fit their ideology in a sense. And it wasn't just those three. It also included famous folk singer Cisco Houston and Lee Hayes, who would eventually join the Weavers with Pete Seeger later on. Some other fellow travelers, Josh White, Bess Lomax, who was one of the Lomax children. And the Lomaxes also had a huge impact on Pete because they were working for the Library of Congress. They went out into the rural South and to Texas to record cowboy songs, and they were really looking for like the true American sound, dealing with encountering all these hillbilly songs and traditional songs and bringing them together, writing them in down in sheet music and recording them. They were famous for their field recordings and bringing these songs to the people as part of the Works Progress administration under Roosevelt. So the next couple songs I'm going to sing are part of that labor movement there that Pete and Woody and the Almanac Singers were a part of. And this first one, I invite you all to sing along with me. I feel like everyone knows this one. This one's called "We Shall Not Be Moved." If you feel like standing, dancing, clapping, I highly encourage it. I'm going to sing the first line, and then we do a call and response. So I'm going to sing "We Shall Not," and you sing "We Shall Not Be Moved," right? Here we go. We shall not be moved. That's right. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved. One more time, just like that. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved. We shall stand and fight together. That's right. We shall stand and fight together. Just like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved. 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 Just like a tree standing by the water, we shall not be moved. The Union is behind us. The Union is behind us. The Union is behind us. Just like a tree standing by the water, we shall not be moved. 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 Just like a tree standing by the water, we shall not be moved. We're black, brown, and white together. We're black, brown, and white together. Just like a tree standing by the water, we shall not be moved. 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 Just like a tree standing by the water, we shall not be moved. We are queer and straight together. We are queer and straight together. Just like a tree standing by the water, we shall not be moved. You might feel the urge to harmonize. Go for it. We shall not be moved. Are you over there? We shall not be moved. Just like a tree standing by the water, we shall not be moved. I love hearing all your voices. That's my favorite thing. When I can hear your voice louder than mine, then that means that the songs are doing something. Now, another favorite of this time is a song called Roll the Union On. But before I do that, I just wanted to say, you might have noticed those last couple of verses of We Shall Not Be Moved are a little different. Inspired in the tradition of Pete Seeger, I came up with those last two. So it was kind of an idea of like, how can we modernize those songs, for a newer generation and to answer the moment of these times here. And we're going to do the same in this next one, Roll the Union On. So I'll sing a couple of the classic verses. If you know them, sing along. But then I'm going to open it up to everyone here to contribute, right? These songs are called zipper songs. So what that means is they have a few structural lines that repeat over and over. And they also have a chorus that repeats over and over. But within the verses, there are little lines of the song that you can zip out and then zip a new line in, which means they're infinitely diverse, they're infinitely changeable, and infinitely adaptable to whatever the environment is, but especially for worship and social justice and celebrating the human spirit. So, again, I'll call out to you when we're ready to come up with a line, but if something enters your mind, hold on to it, because I'm going to need your participation here in a second. So, this song's all about pointing out our enemies when it comes to social justice. So, the first line, it goes a little something like this. We're gonna roll, gonna roll, gonna roll the union on. Gonna roll, gonna roll, gonna roll the union on. Now, we could do a call and response with that, too. So when I say we're gonna roll, you repeat, we're gonna roll. Let's try it. We're gonna roll, gonna roll, gonna roll the union on. You got it. We're gonna roll, gonna roll, gonna roll the union on. Let's try that one more time. We're gonna roll, gonna roll, gonna roll the union on. Gonna roll, gonna roll, gonna roll the union on. Oh, when the boss gets in the way, we're gonna roll right over him. Gonna roll right over him. Gonna roll right over him. The boss gets in the way, we're gonna roll right over him. Gonna roll the union on. So we're gonna do that one again. If you got the boss line, you could just sing that. Or you can sing, we're gonna roll right over him. You could choose your line. Oh, if the boss gets in the way, gonna roll right over him. Gonna roll right over him. Gonna roll right over him. The boss gets in the way, we're gonna roll right over him. Gonna roll the union on. We're gonna roll. Gonna roll. Gonna roll. Gonna roll the union on. Gonna roll. Gonna roll. Gonna roll the union on. If the goons get in the way, we're gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll right over them. The goons get in the way, gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll the union on. We're gonna roll. Gonna roll. Gonna roll. Gonna roll the union on. Gonna roll. Gonna roll. Gonna roll the union on. Now, I should have said, sometimes I like to bring up, not everyone knows who the goons are. It's a funny line, right? As you may well know, if you've been involved in the labor movement, oftentimes the bosses, the companies, they hire paid goons, thugs like the Pinkerton thugs to come, bash some skulls in, try to stop you from organizing. So we got to be prepared for that. That's the origin of the line, when the goons get in the way. Now, the other thing that the boss tries to do is he hires scab labor to come in and replace you. We'll try when the scabs get in the way. When the scabs get in the way, gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll right over them. The scabs get in the way, gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll the union on. We're gonna roll. Gonna roll. Gonna roll. Gonna roll the union on. We're gonna roll. Gonna roll. Gonna roll the union on. Okay, now's my favorite part. You might have noticed we've got quite a few enemies here. So who else is in our way? Trump, all right. I don't know if we're allowed to do that at church, you know? We can't, like, get political.
We can, but you can.
You can what?
We can, but you can.
Oh, I can, okay. So if I ask you guys to sing a certain person's name, you can sing along? How about the fascists? We'll just kind of generalize it. There we go. When the fascists in the way, gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll right over them. The fascists in the way, we're gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll the union on. We're gonna roll. Gonna roll. Gonna roll the union on. Gonna roll. Gonna roll. Gonna roll the union on. All right, I heard some other great ones out there. What do we got? Billionaires. Oh, I like that one. Billionaires get in the way. We're gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll right over them. Billionaires get in the way. Gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll the union on. We're gonna roll. Gonna roll. Gonna roll. Gonna roll the union on. Gonna roll, gonna roll, gonna roll the union on. I would do two more. What do we got out there? Media, okay, I like that. Media gets in the way, gonna roll right over them, gonna roll right over them, gonna roll right over them. Media gets in the way, gonna roll right over them, gonna roll the union on. We're gonna roll, gonna roll. Gonna roll the union on. Gonna roll, gonna roll, gonna roll the union on. Racist, thank you. Let's try that one. Racist in the way. The racists in the way, we're gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll right over them. Racists in the way, we're gonna roll right over them. Gonna roll the union on. We're gonna roll one more time. Gonna roll, gonna roll, gonna roll the union on. We're gonna roll, gonna roll, gonna roll the union on. Thank you guys, I love all the suggestions. Thank you very much. The funny thing was the billionaires one, I actually recorded that line they're up on the screen earlier. It talked about how I'm a grant-winning artist from the Creative Corps, California Creative Corps grant. Much like the Civilian Conservation Corps and the acts under the Works Progress Administration, during the pandemic, a bunch of money was set aside for the state of California for the arts. And local arts councils voted on granting that to different individual artists and groups and foundations right here in the Inland Empire. At Riverside, there was a San Bernardino branch and a Coachella Valley branch. And I was really lucky to win one for doing exactly this work right here, which is singing these labor songs and showing up on the picket lines. And one of my bandmates is back here in the back. We actually performed live at Inland Empire May Day. We do every year anyways, but this particular year it was in Fontana, and we recorded a live album of these songs. So I have some in the car with me. Like when this is all over, I'll go grab some if anyone wants to buy one. They're only $10, but it's all recorded live. It's all these songs, all these union songs and labor songs. And that was one of the lines that I wrote for the song, was the billionaires get in the way, because to me, that's probably one of our biggest threats right now. So thank you for that contribution. Yes?
On that announcement, can you give me an address? I live close to there. What does it mean when you say go 3 miles to Alabama and it is right?
This is from 1960.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Well, I'm glad you asked that. I should have brought that up. When we were promoting the event, we were like, does anybody know that Pete Seeger performed at the Universalist Unitarian Church in the 1960s? So yeah, that's from a flyer from when he performed for the church many, many years ago.
So I won't show up there on my
I mean, you can, but I won't be there, and Pete won't be there, maybe just in spirit. So these labor songs were also inspired by a little book from the early 1900s called IWW songs. So if you don't know who the IWW was, it was the International Workers of the World. And they had this idea, this theory that like the different trade unions oftentimes are pitted against one another. So what we really need to do is build one big union. And they had some very successful organizing attempts early on with construction workers, mine workers, things like that. But ultimately, they were, they never disbanded, but their numbers shrunk a lot. During World War I, we had the Sedition Act, right? So President Wilson went after people like that and literally jailed them, locked them up and stuff. But they still endured. But there was definitely an anti-labor, very right-wing reaction following World War I. But the IWW songs, the idea behind them was a feller named Joe Hill, who was a Swedish immigrant and labor organizer, got off the ship in San Diego and heard the Salvation Army out there singing all their songs. And immediately what the Salvation Army would do is ask everybody for money and ask them to join up. But his whole thing was like, well, we could build something like heaven on earth here. Right now, we could put our money toward the labor movement. So he got this genius idea to take these old hymns and to set these very labor-inspired lyrics to them, basically espousing the ideology of the Wobblies, as they were called, the IWW. And they were very successful. They very much caught on. So you'd have, down at like the docks, you'd have the Salvation Army on one side singing their songs with the Salvation Army band, and then all these, labor activists, picking up whatever they could, accordions, guitars, banjos, trumpets, harmonicas, singing the same songs, but with these labor-inspired lyrics. So, this next one, I feel like everybody should know. This was also in the IWW songbook. And you could see where it really caught on to take songs of the day that everyone already knew and just set new lyrics to it. One thing, some people might think of that as like a form of plagiarism. Plagiarism is the beginning of all culture. That's a quote from Pete Seeger's dad, the musicologist and professor of ethnomusicology. Yeah, and to be honest, a lot of the old hymns were inspired by folk songs that were already traditional songs in existence that we have no written record of. So We've just been borrowing from each other all along. It's basically the best way to put that. Anyways, you guys might know this song as John Brown's Body. Going glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. But instead we sing solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Let's try that again. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Oh, when the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? But the union makes us strong. Solidarity! Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Now this next line here, I did a little bit of plagiarism, I guess you could say myself, a little bit of borrowing, but I came up with my own couple lines, again, to fit the modern labor struggles. One of the bummers about this song being over 100 years old is it sort of erased feminine labor. Or I wouldn't say erased, but feminine labor isn't mentioned at all in the song. It was things about plowing the prairies and digging mines and things like that. So here comes the new verse. Oh, we have nursed and fed and taught them, built the cities where they trade, drove their trucks, fulfilled their orders, endless miles of wire we laid. Now we drown in debt while choking amid the wonders we have made. For the union makes us strong. Solidarity! Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Well, they have taken untold millions that they never toiled to earn. Yet without our brains and muscles, not a single wheel can turn. We can break their haughty power in our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity! Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Thank you guys. Thank you for singing along. Yes, the original was John Brown's body lies a moldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a moldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a moldering in the grave, but his spirit marches on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. So anyways, you guys get the idea. I didn't mean to stop you. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Truth is marching on. So even that song has a social justice root to it there about John Brown. All right, y'all. I got another labor song coming your way. But I did mention about the Almanac Singers and how they all lived in this communal house here in Greenwich Village. But they recorded a couple albums, and almost right away they went around touring the country, playing at different strikes together, trying to spread these songs. One of Pete Seeger's lifelong goals, which began back in that time, was to build a singing labor movement. He thought that that was really important to not just the growth of the labor movement, but, keeping that spirit alive, connecting everybody. So this is one I think everybody knows, and I'm going to sing the traditional version. Again, this one wasn't written by Pete, but it's one of his most popular recordings. The original author was Florence Reese. She was the wife of a mine worker. And back then, in the 1930s, when the United Mine Workers, were trying to organize, it was mostly men. And men were the miners, right? But the women, basically held everything together. They kept everybody in line. They fed everybody. They did a lot of the organizing and stuff behind the scenes, and certainly didn't get enough credit. And it's interesting to think that it was one of the wives of one of the mine workers that wrote this song, not one of the mine workers. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, which side are you on? Come all you good workers, good news to you I'll tell. How the good old Union is coming here to dwell. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, which side are you on? My daddy was a miner, and I'm a miner's son. And I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, which side are you on? They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for G.H. Blair. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, which side are you on? Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Oh, will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man? Which side are you on? 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 Don't scam for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us workers haven't got a chance unless we organize. Which side are you on? 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 One more time. Oh, which side are you on? 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 Thank you guys. Thanks for singing along. I'm so stoked everyone knows that one too. I didn't necessarily grow up listening to folk music, even though it is very much a part of my family history. My grandmother and my grandfather met in Los Angeles in the late 1950s, and one of the things that kind of brought them together was their mutual love of folk music. So it was definitely like around me as a kid on both sides of my grandparents. But I was actually introduced to that song through a punk rock band called the Dropkick Murphys. Anybody ever heard of them? I was very much in the Corona punk rock scene. If anyone ever went to the Showcase Theater there in Corona or remembered people complaining about it and all those punk kids, I was one of them. And yeah, this labor music is still very much alive in the punk scene. And one day I was going to see the Dropkick Murphys perform at the Glass House in Pomona with my dad. And it was one of like these like early, I would say like social justice consciousness moments with my dad. We're riding in the car, and Which Side Are You On comes on, and he's singing along. And he has this little moment where he's just all amped from singing the song, and we're all stoked to go see the Dropkick Murphys. He says, "You know what that song's about, Johnny? That song's about the union. You know I'm in a union. My dad was in a union. Every good thing we have is because of the union. The weekend, the 8-hour day, Social Security, all these things is because unions are fighting for that first, you know? No one ever gave these things to us. We worked hard for it, and we demanded it, and they had to give it to us because they were worried about revolution here in America." So that's when my consciousness of these things really began. And, it was a little bit later that I discovered Pete Seeger. But anyways, shortly after recording these labor songs and doing this labor work with the Almanac Singers, the Hitler invaded Poland, and the U.S. was not at war yet with Germany. But Pete Seeger, Woody Guthrie, all the folks in the Almanac Singers, a lot of people on the left at that point became very concerned with the Nazis and with the fascist movement spreading across Europe and Japan. And they said, we got to do something now. Like, the time is now. We can't wait. They're already, rounding up Jews and outcasts and all kinds of stuff. And they've already, invaded Poland. Like, now is the time. So they kind of flipped. At first, they were like anti-interventionists because they were anti-imperialist. But their tune changed when the Nazis invaded Poland. And then they started recording songs about trying to get everyone to get behind the war effort. And it was shortly after this that Pete Seeger was drafted into the Army. Not everyone knows that he served, but he served in the South Pacific. He was an airplane mechanic. But most of what he ended up doing was singing songs for everybody. Once they realized what a talented singer and musician he was pretty much in charge of morale and lifting up the troops and stuff like that. But he did do his service there as a patriotic duty to fighting fascism. So this next one is another popular song of his from shortly after that World War II period. And this is one absolutely written by Pete, not just adapted, although technically the lyrics are from the Bible. I think everyone probably knows this one. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal. A time to live, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down. a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace. A time that you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rent, a time to sow, a time of love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. Thank you guys. Again, I'm so happy y'all know that one, singing along. Yeah, Pete wrote that, but I don't know if his version was as popular as the later version recorded by the Byrds, which is one of my favorite covers of all time, right? They just perfectly encapsulated that jingle jangle sound and their guitar work and everything that perfectly complemented that song. So, next begins another kind of dark period of Pete's life. So, following World War II, he started an organization called the People's Songs. And the whole idea of the People's Songs was to continue the singing labor movement started by the Almanac Singers, built upon the work of the International Workers of the World and the IWW songs. And he did. He was actually successfully able to set up chapters all over the country of people who would get together, sing songs together, and submit lyrics to be shared across the country and published in a People's Songs journal, and give people that material for organizing. Very successful, but at the same time, those things are very hard. As you as a church probably know, it's very hard to keep these kind of things going. It's all very much a labor of love and volunteer work, But one of the other things he was able to do was create this network of musicians, getting them paid gigs, singing for labor unions, and also connecting different, not just labor organizations, but socialist organizations, progressive churches, camps, I say labor camps, but they were union camps and stuff that were founded by union members for their families, to vacation to, and set up this network across the country. But shortly after the war, we all know what happened. FDR died way too soon, still with some work to accomplish, replaced by somebody not so competent, not so empathetic, and not so aware socially. And shortly after that, there was a conservative shift in the country, and the Taft-Hartley Act was passed. And this bill was incredibly destructive to the labor movement. It had banned a lot of the things which made the labor movement successful, like solidarity strikes that would evolve into general strikes and things like that. It made it harder to form a union, harder to have enough, cards and everything signed to get officially recognized. A lot of the guts of the labor movement were kind of stripped by that bill. Now, that didn't stop people from organizing, and that didn't stop the labor movement from growing, because, once it got going, it got going. But legally, it very much hamstringed the unions and made it very, very hard to organize. That was followed by the Red Scare and the House Un-American Activities Committee and going after not just blacklisting people like Pete. He was blacklisted from performing most major venues, from performing on the radio, from performing on TV. But he was forced to appear before the committee because they knew he had ties to the Communist Party. The thing was, at this point, Pete had already disavowed the Communist Party. Not that he didn't believe in the ideology initially of the Communist Party, but a lot of people didn't really know what Stalin was up to in those days. And when they found out, they were like, oh no, this is not what we're about, you know? So many communists left. But Pete was always a fellow traveler with all these different lefties, communists, and socialists. And that got him into some trouble. And the committee really wanted him to name names. They wanted him to name other fellow communists. And he stood up for the First Amendment and said, no, I'm not going to name names. And I have the right to believe whatever I believe. And that's private. And he stood by that for years. But that meant the kind of destruction of his commercial success, which was just rising before the war effort, made it hard for him to get gigs. But luckily, because he had started this People's Songs organization, he was able to find places where he could get some gigs and some labor unions that still supported him. And it wasn't just in music and film. Like we're familiar with a lot of the popular films and stuff about this. I think of that movie Trumbo. I don't know if everyone's seen that one. But it wasn't just a matter of blacklisting artists. They made union members sign oaths, sign pledges that they weren't members or affiliated with the Communist Party or socialists. And what that meant was a lot of union members who were very strong organizers. It was the communists who were the best organizers in most of the unions, and as far as bringing in women and black and brown folks to what was a very white male kind of centered labor movement. They were all forced to resign, basically. So it very much stripped the labor movement of its power. Anyways, it was in this time that Pete discovered what was a labor song, which would eventually become a signature song of the civil rights movement, "We Shall Overcome." And I hope you'll sing along with me. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall all be free. We shall all be free. We shall all be free. We shall all be free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. Someday, oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone. Someday, oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome. One more time. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Thank you guys so much. Again, I love when I can hear your voices louder than mine. I'm tempted to just back away from the mic altogether, but then I know we're recording this for folks who can't make it out. So I'm like, oh no, they're not going to know what the heck is going on if I'm just over here. Huh? Stronger together, exactly. So yes, so not only was that song important to the labor movement, but it became an anthem for the civil rights movement. A lot of the folks that were involved in planning the March on Washington with Dr. King were affiliated with Pete Seeger in some way or another. And the organization that he had created, the People's Songs, which created all those different chapters across the country and helped get those lefty musicians gigs across the country, eventually morphed into a magazine called Sing Out, which Pete Seeger was on the board for. And after, 20, 30 years of this kind of work, there really was a folk music revival in the late 50s and early 60s. It started with groups like the Kingston Trio singing Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley, hang down your head and cry. Right, everyone knows that one, right? Okay, glad you know. I'm not going to sing that one here in the church, but anyways, it's a murder ballad. But yeah, there's some dark lines in that one. But anyways, these songs started to make their popularity, and people started recording Pete's songs again. And one of those songs that he had written earlier on in the 50s made its way back. And I think it's a perfect song for not only the civil rights struggle that was going on at the time, but the opposition to the Vietnam War. It's definitely an anti-imperialist song, we'll say that. And I think everyone should know this one. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Girls that pick them, everyone know. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the young girls gone? Long time passing, oh. Where have all the young girls gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young girls gone? Taking husbands, everyone know. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? And where have all the young men gone? Long time passing, oh. Where have all the young men gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young men gone? Gone for soldiers, everyone, oh. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing, oh. Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? Gone to graveyards, everyone, oh. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time passing, oh. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time ago. Where have all the graveyards gone? Covered with flowers, everyone, oh. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Thank you guys for singing along. I will say that I didn't very much spend much time timing my presentation, so I'm happy to sing all day. Like once I'm here, in for a penny, in for a pound. But I got a few more if you're all down. All right, cool. There we go. We'll keep an eye out for anyone looking restless out there. I need to do a quick harmonica swap for this one. So Pete Seeger had a brother and a sister that were both famous folk singers, Mike Seeger and Peggy Seeger. Peggy Seeger married a Scottish folk singer named Ewan MacCowell, who sings traditional Scottish songs. And both Peggy and Mike, who was in a band called the New Lost City Ramblers, were very much devoted to not just keeping traditional music alive, but being like as honest and authentic and pure to that sound of the traditional music. Pete Seeger wasn't such a purist though. And I feel like I kind of follow in his footsteps there because I like to kind of make his songs my own sometimes. So, I mean, you're going to recognize the song, but I put my own little spin on things sometimes. I mean, of course, I'm up here playing a guitar and not a banjo, so that could be your first clue there. If I had a hammer, I'd a hammer in the morning, I'd a hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd a hammer out danger, I'd a hammer out warning, I'd a hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out warning, I'd ring out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Well, I got a hammer, oh, and I got a bell. I got a song to sing all over this land. It's a hammer of justice, it's a bell of freedom, it's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. All over this land. All over this land. Thank you guys. I thought it was fun to make that one into a little boogie woogie. So like I mentioned, these old labor songs kind of lent way to the civil rights movement and the anti-war movement. And not only did the People's Songs movement transform into Sing Out, which became a way to send out songs and publish the songs of folk singers across the country, but also a new kind of festival began in Newport called the Newport Folk Festival. This is where we are introduced, I think, on a massive scale to singers like Bob Dylan, who would kind of carry on the torch of a lot of what Pete Seeger did, and then not. But I don't know if anyone's seen the new Bob Dylan movie that came out last year with Timothy Chalamet. It's actually a really good biopic, in my opinion. I read the book that movie's based on. It's called Dylan Goes Electric. They don't exactly follow the book. Who would have imagined? There's some apocryphal footage in that movie, and apocryphal tales of Pete Seeger wanting to take an axe to the sound cables and the power cables because he thought Dylan sounded so bad. That actually wasn't the case. Pete Seeger was probably Bob Dylan's biggest fan. And you could tell how much it influenced Dylan's music. But yeah, the Newport Folk Festival gave a platform to all these new artists, these new folk singers of the time, people like Pete and people like Bob Dylan and Joan Baez, but also featured old Appalachian folk artists, blues singers of all kinds, field hollers, you name it, all kinds of traditional American music. And it was really successful at bringing these workshops together of these traditional songs and also these very popular musicians at a time when folk music suddenly randomly just became popular and everyone was out there singing Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley, and Where Have All the Flowers Gone? But the next couple songs that I'd like to perform for y'all, I feel they're more about Mr. Pete Seeger's legacy more than anything. They're not so much the happy, upbeat ones, but I love them. I think they have a positive message. So we talked a little bit earlier about a gentleman named Joe Hill, how he was a member of the IWW. In the 1920s, Mr. Joe Hill found himself in Salt Lake City, Utah, trying to organize mine workers there. And of course, the bosses had it out for him, the copper bosses. And something really dark went down. Somebody murdered a local sheriff. They weren't sure who did it, but it just so happened that that very night that the sheriff was murdered, Joe Hill shows up at a doctor's door, and he's covered in blood, and he has wounds from a fight. Now, he tells the doctor, I got in a fight. But, you know, like I said, the copper bosses already had it out for Joe Hill. The police and the sheriffs there certainly didn't like him, and they arrested him and tried to frame him for murder. Now, was it ever truly proven? Was there any evidence linking him to the crime? No, he just happened to get wounded the same night as these officers. And many people on the left at the time spoke out. My gotta do the math here. Great-great-grandfather, his name was Julius Miller, was living in Salt Lake City at the time. He was a construction worker trying to organize construction workers, and he wrote for a socialist magazine called The Intermountain Worker. And he actually wrote articles defending Mr. Joe Hill at the time. But sadly, Joe Hill was martyred. He died death by firing squad. It's a pretty gnarly way to go. But his last words were, don't mourn, organize. So he certainly became a martyr for the movement. And he wrote a lot of these wonderful labor songs. So this was a song written about Joe Hill that Pete was very well known for singing back in the day. It's called Joe Hill. I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says I'm but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, said he. I never died, said he. The copper bosses killed you, Joe. They shot you, Joe, says I. It takes more than guns to kill a man, says Joe. I didn't die, says Joe. I didn't die. In Salt Lake City, Joe says I am standing by my bed. They framed you on a murder charge, says Joe, but I ain't dead. Says Joe, but I ain't dead. And then standing there as big as life, him smiling with his eyes, says Joe, what they can never kill went on to organize, went on to organize. And from San Diego up to Maine, in every mine and mill, where working folks defend their rights, it's there you'll find Joe Hill. It's there you'll find Joe Hill. I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says hi, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, said he. I never died, says he. I love that one. You know, I'm not sure who wrote it originally. I thought I had it in my notes, but I don't have it. All right, y'all. I got one more for you. I'm so happy you all stuck around and braved this heat to sing along with me. They're all sing-along songs, you know. I think not only was it Pete Seeger's goal to start a singing labor movement, but following a lot of the civil rights organizing and the anti-war organizing and the Newport Folk Festival, even though folk music changed forever as it turned into folk rock, a lot of these songs kept on going and enduring, right? Just with a new backbeat. But Pete Seeger never stopped singing, never stopped organizing. Following this time, he finally, the case against him from the HUAC committee, they finally dropped all charges of trying to, you know, send him to jail for being a communist and not naming any other communists. And once that was lifted, a travel ban that was placed on him was lifted. So him and his wife Tashi and his kids got like a cheap camcorder. I don't know what they were called back then. I'm just going to go with camcorder. And they traveled the world learning songs from all these different cultures, bringing American music to other countries, but also recording the folk music and folklore and folk dances of other countries. And when he came back home to the Hudson Valley in New York, his next venture that basically took up the rest of his life was cleaning up the Hudson River in New York. So not everyone knows this, but Pete was very much influenced by Henry David Thoreau, one of the Transcendentalists, and Walden, and wanted to live a similar life. When he had come back from the army, he built his own cabin with his own hands, and any friends that would come over to stay, he built this log cabin. No running water, no electricity. That's what his kids grew up in. Bless his wife for for putting up with that and the kids. But no, they lived as wild and close to nature as possible, and keeping with his goals that I think also go with a lot of the early founders of this church. Certainly my favorite book is Walden by Henry David Thoreau. So it was interesting I had no idea that had so much an impact on Pete. But yeah, as not only was he the anti-imperialist, the civil rights warrior, the labor warrior, but he was the environmental warrior. And so he built a ship called the Clearwater, and it sailed up and down the Hudson River from town to town, getting kids to come aboard, learn about the river, learn about environmentalism, and get the whole community involved up and down the state in cleaning up the Hudson River. So if y'all remember, there was that episode of Seinfeld when Kramer swims in the Hudson River. That's thanks to Mr. Pete Seeger and his cohort there for cleaning up the river, right? It used to just be a dumping ground. Like it was even like the state sanctioned dumping ground. They would just dump everything in there. Pretty sad, but also like very uplifting that he was able to clean all that up. So not all is lost. I think we live in a time of where the message of doom and gloom seems to surround climate change and the environmental movement. And it's this idea that like if we don't do everything now, then we're screwed and there's nothing we can do and we're all going to die. And I think it's a very terrible way to organize people, because there's never a bad time to care about the environment. There's never a bad time to do something. Every little bit helps, right? It's not like the world is just gone and then everything's done, right? So I think that was one of the enduring messages of Pete. Like, the time is now. This was called Quiet Early Morning. Don't you know it's darkest before the dawn? And this thought keeps us moving on. If we could heed these early warnings, the time is now. Quite early morning. If we could heed these early warnings, the time is now. Quite early morning. Some say that humankind won't long endure, but what makes them so doggone sure? I know that you who hear me singing could make those freedom bells go ringing. I know that you who hear my singing could make those freedom bells go ringing. And so we keep on while we live, until we have no more to give. And when these fingers can strum no longer, I'll hand this old guitar to the young one stronger. And when these fingers can strum no longer, I'll hand this old guitar to the young one stronger. So though it's darkest before the dawn, these thoughts keep us moving on through all the world of joy and sorrow. We still can have singing tomorrow. Let's repeat that again. Through all this world of joy and sorrow, we still can have singing tomorrow. One more time. Through all this world of joy and sorrow, we still can have singing tomorrow. Don't you know it's darkest before the dawn? And these thoughts keep us moving on. If we could heed these early warnings, the time is now, quite early morning. If we could heed these early warnings, the time is now, quite early morning. Thank you, guys. Thank you for singing along with me. If you want to know where I got all my info, I suggest you read Pete Seeger's autobiography called Pete Seeger in His Own Words. It has all these letters and stuff written by Pete, correspondence with people like Woody and people in the labor movement and social justice movement. There's a really great documentary about Pete on PBS. I'm forgetting what the name of that was, but if you just Google Pete Seeger documentary PBS, you'll probably find it. Unfortunately, it's not free. You'll have to pay for it, but I found it very uplifting, so I recommend it. In addition to that, I read just about every biography I can on Woody Guthrie and folk music, so I couldn't name every single one of them, but I highly suggest, if you haven't read it, to read Woody's book Bound for Glory. Some folks say it's an autobiography. Not everything did he do or experience in that book, but it very much sums up him and connects the dots between, I think, him and Pete and young Bob Dylan. But anyways, if you want to find my music, you can go to my website. It's jonnymillerjr.com. That's Johnny with no H, Jonny, millerjr.com. I want to thank Adam for welcoming me here today and all the hard work you do for the church. And I want to thank you all. Thank Kate behind the soundboard there. And you have a question?
Have you recorded the song that you put some new lyrics to? That was a great one.
Oh, the Solidarity for Everyone? Yes. It is. It's on my website, but if you like a physical CD thing, I could go grab one for you. I just forgot it in my car. I'm not used to singing this early in the morning. I haven't sung at church in a long, long time.
We'll have a discussion afterwards, so let's save comments and questions for after.
Yeah. All right. So, and I just want to thank you all, the church, for supporting. I'm a member of Inland Empire Democratic Socialists of America. We've partnered with you all throughout the years. Riverside Food Not Bombs as well. I'm a member of. Thank you guys for your support throughout the years and all that, and making a difference in the community. I don't live in Riverside anymore, but the work still continues, and I'm so happy for the social justice mission of this church. And I thank you all again for having me and singing along. And I'll meet you in the foyer. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny, once more. Let us go out into the world singing. Let us go out into the world singing songs that proclaim liberty, songs that turn ashes into garlands, songs that bind up the afflicted and those who mourn, songs that, like oaks, have roots that go deep and stand strong. Let us go out into the world singing. We know these songs. They vibrate through time in our very souls. They are the songs that give us life. They are the songs that give us meaning. They are the songs that give us purpose. Now it is our turn to take these life-giving songs out into the world. Let us go now, singing these songs with voices deep and strong. And may the world join us in praise and celebration and in love. Amen, namaste, and blessed be. Thank you, Johnny, for sharing your valuable time and your music with us. We sincerely appreciate you and your time, and we look forward to seeing you again. In just a moment, we'll have 10 to 15 minutes for discussion, and if you'd like some Q&A, if you're available for questions, here in the sanctuary in just a moment for those who wish to share their thoughts and observation on today's sermon. Please be aware that this will be included on the video that's posted online. Otherwise, you're now welcome to adjourn into the parish hall for coffee hour. And we'll have our discussion, we'll bring a microphone up in just a second. Is it all right if I put this mic down there?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, I was going to. Well, I was going to.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I didn't want to just sit upstairs.
Well, I guess I can answer questions here, yeah?
Exactly.
Oh, perfect. Hey, there we go.
Actually, sorry if you don't mind. I'm just gonna. This is a nice omnidirectional microphone.
Oh, okay, so I don't have to get all close up
Yeah,
on
hopefully
there.
that one's good. All right.
Did anybody have any questions
Or comments? Yeah, come on up.
or comments? You could come critique my outfit.
I'm Nick, and I am a Unitarian Universalist.
Hi, Nick.
And now, after a hard-fought campaign, one of your board members. Thank you so much. You're just happy to be off the board, that's all. So you did, towards the later part of this, talk about Dylan, but you never said anything about Johnny Cash. Where does he fall for you in terms of protest songs? Because he wrote a lot of stuff about the poor.
I would say that I was aware of Johnny Cash before I was aware of any other folk singer. And that's a great question. I absolutely consider Johnny a folk singer. It's hard. The lines are blurred between folk, hillbilly, like all these were just terms made up by record companies and radio stations to market the music, right? But it's the people's songs, it's folk. So I definitely think Johnny Cash, he was very clever in that he was able to write those hard-hitting songs and tell people's stories without necessarily like alienating himself like commercially. And I would say in that way, he definitely had a much more profitable career than Pete, but it doesn't make his songs, commercially successful than Pete, but that doesn't make his songs to me any less important. And you're absolutely right. Like I think about one of my favorite albums that's inspired me greatly is Johnny Cash's Bitter Tears album. And it's songs of solidarity and protest with Native Americans. And he didn't write those songs. They were written by a Native American gentleman who wrote the songs for Johnny. So giving voice to a community that on a national scale, most white people wouldn't have listened to. So pretty awesome. Like I would say that was probably one of his most important works. But yeah, he's always singing working class songs and he's one of us. He didn't come from the rich. Certainly not an elitist, you know. So, and yeah, he's very instrumental in popularizing songs that, like his versions of some of Pete's songs or even Dylan's were even more popular, you know, than the original recordings. So, and singing old folk songs, just like the same message as Pete. I think he was very much inspired by Pete.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Anybody else got any questions? Oh, you can come on up to the mic. I guess they want to record it. That's how you know you're at the Unitarian church. Everyone's like, you go first. No, you go first.
I'm not going to talk from here. I did it there when I was supposed to.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, I'm into marketing of good ideas, and I'd love to see that you could be marketed into a way where younger people would be inspired by your knowledge. You are providing historical background on something far beyond wonderful music and how music is incorporated into learning. With that in mind, my question is this: have you ever been in a school environment presenting what you presented to us? Because I think you could truly push a button on young people who have a fire in their belly and they're our future. And right now, because of what's going on and some of the lyrics that I was asking about in that one song, beyond that, you gave a tremendous historical background to this gentleman and the movements and what inspired these lyrics. That needs to be in schools where you are able to do it. Have you ever done it?
I love that question. I am a teacher. I teach private music lessons, and I do impart all of that knowledge, the musicology side of things, to all my students as well as the songs. But you're right, like on a grander scale, I would love to do lectures, presentations at schools.
Approach Riverside Community College. They focus tremendously on performance. Just an idea.
Yeah.
I threw out ideas. It may be a good idea or a bad idea, but it's an inspirational thing. We need this information. The dumbing down of America and critical thinking is being destroyed. If we do not learn from the past, we're bound to repeat it. It's happening as we speak. And action speaks louder than words. Your words are very inspirational. And yes, I talked out there when I wasn't supposed to, and I will continue to do that till I die. But the point is, there are very few of us here, but each of us has a mission. And if we accept it and we take action, we can be a part of the solution rather than a continuing problem. And you were wonderful today.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
What was your name? Trouble. Thank you, Trouble. I know you will.
First of all, thank you. It was a delight. Please don't be a stranger. Come on back as soon as we can arrange it proper. Some small disjointed stuff. To everything, there's a season. They played at my mom's funeral.
Oh my God.
No, but it was funny because she'd grown up in. She'd done some of her favorite times of her life was working freelance advertising and doing media stuff, and she was going. And we could just picture her from the other side. They lost my freaking music. How normal is that? They do this all the time to me. We've had improv stuff. Let's see. There's a song called Die Gedanken sind frei, which Pete Seeger does. It's in our hymn book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you'll be able to look it up there. As far as incredible banjo riffs, look up Barney McKenna of the Dubliners. And of course, as a man who's done the Irish to Appalachian pipeline, you'll appreciate some of the riffs that come out of that. As far as the Appalachian pipeline, there was also a group of handbooks for how to butcher a hog, make moonshine and other socially proper skills. And it was called the Foxfire Book. And the Singer Lomax thing hooked into that. There were people doing that for 30 years, going up and back in there. So thank you for that old bit of memory. There might be something else, but I'd have to fish around for it. There are people ready to talk to you. Brilliant job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to take a picture of that hymn there so I don't forget it.
Thank you, Johnny. That was very inspirational. I'm an aspiring beginner kind of musician, sort of. Oh, but it gave me inspiration to go home and pluck around on my banjo.
Oh, yay.
I got one lesson. Somebody showed me how to use a phone app to tune it.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
The Pete Seeger has an instructional banjo book.
Yeah.
You got that? Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
don't have it.
It's a really good book. I highly recommend it.
I'll pick it up. I've ordered it online.
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah, they'll deliver it.
Pete would be honored.
Thank you.
Thank you. What was your name?
Dave.
Dave. Thank you,
They
Dave.
call me Toronto Dave
Toronto Dave.
to separate me from the Daves in your life.
I love it.
He was the one to actually organize Riverside Community Hospital for the union.
Oh, wow. He was? Oh, I gotta have a talk with you. Yeah, I'll talk with Dave, the union organizing.
Hello and thank you. I'm
Hello.
Sue.
Hi, Sue.
Pronoun she and her. Um, First of all, congrats on Creative Core. I
Oh,
know that
thank
was a
you.
lot of work to get that grant. I know a lot of artists that worked toward that and only know a few that got it. And it did connect community with the artist and also, I feel like social justice. Were you in Fontana?
Yes.
So all right, that's awesome. A town that needs support, definitely. And then I just want to say something to Diane. It's so hard for an artist to also do the PR. That's a great idea to get this talk in schools, I agree. But it's like the artist sometimes needs some PR support because working as an artist, it's sometimes we can't do both. And then the Hudson Valley story really touched me because my family's there. So I already texted them a photo of you and shared that part.
Aw,
Yeah, so thank you for that.
thank you. I'm a huge fan of the Hudson River School artists. And Hudson Valley is very beautiful. I will say real quick, sorry, before you go, if anyone knows how to like draft a proposal to the community colleges to help me get out there, I would love to collaborate with you. If that's something anybody has any experience at doing, I mean, I love that idea. I'd love to bring this on the road, you know?
Also the grind which is a local coffee house.
Oh, I love Back to the Grind. Yeah. I've been performing there for years.
I say yes, RCC, but RUSD, the school district with
Yeah.
we have a VAPA specialist, Anne Marie Guzzi, if she knew about you. So I could email her about you.
Thank you. Oh, you're RUSD?
Well, no, but I'm part of, I'm a teacher at RCC. But
Oh,
I
okay.
know a lot of people that work for RUSD.
Thank you. I would appreciate that. I'm going to connect with you when this is all over. You too. Trouble.
So I'm Tinka,
Hi, Tinka.
and I sing and have ever since it got started. I sing with the Riverside Resistance Revival Chorus. So I don't know if you have ever seen us out at any of the demonstrations or protests or anything else, but I would also like to talk with you later to see if maybe you might be willing to. We're singing. We take our voices and use songs of protest, but also songs of unity,
Yes.
of bringing people together. We try to spread happiness and joy for embracing all people and diversity, to try to push back on the voices coming from our administration on division and hate. Anyway, so we formed ourselves in 2016 or 17, something like that. Anyway, in fact, we have rehearsal afterwards.
Oh.
This afternoon, I'll be going there. And
I might have to
if
stop
you
by
are, I'll
since I'm
talk
in
with you
town.
later to see if maybe you are interested in coming to do something similar to what you did here. We're always giving out. It would be wonderful for us to have somebody come in and we can energize ourselves, if that is something that you might be interested in.
I would love that. I've been meaning to connect with you guys. I've seen you on Instagram. Thank you so much. Oh, you're back. Trouble's back.
Another idea, because it's historical and it's incorporating music into history, expand it and even approach history departments, because a lot of those professors might find their students wouldn't fall asleep if they had music and new music to listen to while they're getting the message of history. So just another idea, expand it, because you gave tremendous amount of history to us. And if we don't learn from the past, we're bound to repeat it. If we learn from the past something that can be more positive, maybe it can come again. Okay, that's it. I'm gone again.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I agree.
Thank you so much, Johnny, for being here. This is really awesome. I'm really glad it worked out so well. And I just want to reiterate that IE Songs album that you did through that grant. You also did. They're talking about education. I went to a really neat workshop with you where you talked about labor movement and folk music and how they all work together. I thought that was fabulous. And
Thank you.
but that album, I think, is really great because it's not just modernized, but it's very localized. You talk about Amazon and some of the stuff that we're facing here in the Inland Empire. And so I think that's great. So, yeah, if you haven't heard that album, it's available on Spotify, but if he's got copies, I would buy one from him because it's the only CD I have. So that's awesome.
I love that. I'm like the only guy handing out CDs still, I feel like. I will, connect with me, after the Q&A. I'll go run to my car and grab a bunch of those, as many as I have left anyway.
This guy later you can look it up. Pete Seeger.
Oh, that's the song.
Which is
Die,
free.
Gedanken sind frei.
Yes,
Sind frei.
Okay, like I'm going to correct the guy's language on German. Whatever.
Yeah. Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
Second thing is there's a song called...
Oh, yeah, to the mic.
There's also a song called I Want to Be an Engineer, written by Peggy Seeger. You're going to want to look it up, too, because it's a song about a woman who keeps getting forced into roles when she says, no, really, I want to be an engineer, not a housewife. So you might add that one to the arsenal.
I love that. Thank you. I'm looking that up. I saw you singing along a lot.
Well, I grew up in a liberal household in a very conservative area in North Idaho. My dad had all the Pete Seeger records, and so everything that you've sung and you've talked about, I heard a great deal, and I really have enjoyed this. It's taken me back to my childhood, which I greatly appreciate. Poor Pete, he had the misfortune. All famous people, of course, I should have known better, but when you're a child, you don't. So I was moping about not being recognized by the world as a genius and given a great job when I got out of college. And so then I was testing cow blood of all things. And I said to my dad, do you think this is important? And he said, why don't you write to Pete Seeger? And I went, huh? And somehow we found Pete's address, so I actually wrote to him. That was when he was doing the thing on the river. And I got an answer saying, here's to healthy bodies and healthy minds, and you're doing a great job. Thanks, Pete. So I got to find that someplace. But imagine all the people that wrote to Pete all over the years, and he felt that he had to answer each one, and that took him away from even his personal life. So looking back, I thought, my God, I worked Pete. Why did I do that? Anyway, so that's my story of my personal interaction. Not so personal, but yet a personal with Pete Seeger.
That's so cool. What was your name again?
Walt.
Walt.
Well, Walt Russell, but I worked with a lot of foreigners who couldn't get that Walt in. And so I said, just think of Walt Disney. And they go, oh, Walt Disney, yeah.
I think Walt Whitman.
Hey.
Is that who you're named after?
Thank you. I wish.
Oh.
After my dad,
Oh, yeah. Thank you. No, that's amazing. And you bring up a really great point. Like, that was something that really mattered to Pete, was actually responding to almost every letter that he ever got. So aside from the log cabin that he built, that he lived in, he built another cabin just to house all the letters. So he kept them all. Like, so he could, like, and they had a filing system so he could correspond to everybody. It's incredible. So I believe that he got back to you. And he always sign a letter. He got this from Woody. He said, take it easy, but take it. I don't know why that was his expression, but I like it. Well, anybody else got any questions? I suppose I'll meet you all out there in the lobby or foyer, or what do we call this?
In the parish hall. Yeah, last
the hall.
Last opportunity to ask our guest a question or give a comment. Yes, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
I
for
appreciate
sticking
you all.
around. And you can chat with Johnny a little bit more out in the parish hall while we have some
Yeah, I'll
coffee
see you
and
out
some
there.
refreshments.
I need to get some water.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's dry up here.
Out here in the desert.
I'm so happy you came.